Hello, this is State Senator Rob Martwick, and I'm here in my office here in northwest side of the city of Chicago. And this is the next in my series of whiteboard videos that talk about some of the legislation that was passed this year. Today I'm going to talk about actually like 3 bills that were all initiatives of myself, bills that I carried, that deal with the topic of retirement security. Now, what better topic to talk about a whiteboard than retirement security? I feel like I'm standing at the head of, some office space trying to sell people on buying investments from me. But that's not what we did. This is actually a really important topic. And it's important for a number of reasons. And there's 3 that I want to talk about right away. There's a moral reason, there's a budget reason, and there's an economic reason. Well, what do I mean by that? We've had a real problem with retirement security in this country. People are not saving enough. And when that happens, it creates these 3 problems. The moral problem is that these people are really quite shocked. They hit retirement age. Maybe they can't find future employment. It's very difficult. And they're left living on something that is substantially below what they're used to living on. And that is very difficult to make adjustments to your lifestyle at that age to really cut back. That's a moral problem. It creates a budget problem because when people are not prepared to sustain themselves in their retirement, they go to the government for services and aid, and that's money. And when we spend money on sustaining people in retirement when they could have sustained themselves, well, that means we can't spend money on education, public safety, health care for children. We have to cut back on all those things that we want to provide. And finally, it's a real economic problem. Retiree spending, people who are retired and spending their retirement savings in their golden years, is an important sector of our economy. It helps drive demand. And when people don't have any money to spend in retirement, they don't spend, and that slows our economy down. So it's really something we need to address. Now, how bad is it, you say? Well, 64% of Americans are unprepared. And what do I mean by unprepared? They have $10,000 or less in retirement savings. Think about that, $10,000 or less. 15% of Americans have absolutely nothing, not a nickel of retirement savings. That's a real problem, and it really is our next big fiscal problem if we don't do something to address it. So, in order to address that problem, I sponsored a number of pieces of legislation over the last couple of years that sort of came to a culmination now. And I want to talk about those. And obviously we have workers in both sectors. We have public sector workers and private sector workers. And so what we did for public sector workers revolves around supplemental retirement savings, deferred comp. What do I mean by this? Well, many of our public sector workers, as everyone knows, get a pension, but they don't get Social Security. That's what a lot of people don't know. So the people that work for the government, if you work for the city of Chicago, you work for the state of Illinois, you're a teacher, you're a police officer, you're investing in a pension plan, but you don't get Social Security. Private sector, most likely you don't have a pension plan, but you get Social Security. 10 years ago, we tried to make changes to our pension system to make it more cost effective, but what we did was we lowered the benefit level so low that these people, public sector employees, if they don't save additional monies for their retirement, they're going to be unprepared. They're not going to have enough money to get by, and they're going to create those problems we talked about. So we did something with deferred comp. Private sector, we did something with something called secure choice. Again, these people have Social Security, but as anyone knows, Social Security is not enough to get by on. People need additional retirement savings. So this is about supplementing those base, that public sector pension, that private sector Social Security. So let's talk about the public sector and deferred comp. Deferred comp is an optional savings plan. It's a place for you to save your own money if you choose. Here's the problem. While we offer this to all of our public sector employees, only about a quarter of them, actually a little bit less, take advantage of it. So the vast majority, more than 75% of our public sector employees, are not saving anything in additional, and they really need to. private sector, again, we know what the numbers are there. People are not supplementing their retirement with IRAs or 401ks, and they're not doing it. But it's even bigger problem. The bigger problem is that so many Americans don't have access to retirement savings. Either they work part-time or they work at a job where an employer doesn't offer any sort of retirement savings plan. They don't offer a 401k. So how do we solve that for them? Well, the answer is pretty similar in both. So again, these are the two big pieces of legislation. There are two pieces of legislation here and one for secure choice. So let's talk about public sector deferred comp. So we've got this deferred comp that people are not really contributing to. And again, we did sort of the same thing here, but slightly different because of the different sectors. Now what we've done is very simply, we've done this. It's called auto enrollment. Okay? And what this means is that you have public sector employees who would sign up for their pension. That's not optional. You have to contribute. But they were given the option, hey, would you like to save some other money for your retirement, your deferred comp? And 22% of them said yes, and 78% of them said, let me get back to you later on that. And they never did. What we've done is we've now changed that default from them having to opt into savings. We've changed it so that now they're automatically enrolled, but they can choose to opt out. And what a difference we've seen by doing this. We've gone from a 22% participation rate to a 91% participation rate. This means public sector employees are saving early. They're getting into a program, they're saving their money, and it's going to build up through the course of their career. And it's going to make them prepared for retirement. They are going to be ready for their retirement. They're not going to be a burden on our future budget, and they're going to be able to contribute to our economy in their retirement. That's a great thing. So we've done this automatic enrollment, automatic escalation, where the rates of their savings go up the more they make. They get pay raises, the amount that they save goes up. In the private sector, working in conjunction with our state treasurer, Mike Frericks, on his initiative, which is Secure Choice. So a few years ago, we passed the Secure Choice bill, which said now, if you are a private sector employer and you have 25 or more employees and you don't have a retirement plan, you must enroll your employees into our state-run deferred comp, Secure Choice IRA savings, IRA type savings plan. Again, this is putting people's money into retirement on behalf of them. Now, I will tell you, when we passed this a few years ago, business groups were really opposed to this. They thought that this would be a real burden on businesses. It would add costs that and it's tough running businesses. And they just didn't want those additional costs and that additional burden, paperwork, administrative nightmares. Well, it's been wildly successful, so successful in fact, that this year we expanded Secure Choice to apply not just to employers of 25 or more employees, but now every employer in the state of Illinois with 5 or more employees who doesn't offer their own in-house now must automatically enroll, there's that word again, their employees into our Secure Choice savings plan. When we did this, again, the plan was so successful that the business groups, by and large, there was one business group that was opposed, but all the rest of them that had been opposed were all neutral on the bill, meaning they weren't opposed to it, and that's because it had been so successful, it had been so easy for businesses to administer, and in fact it was a way of businesses to offer a benefit to their employees that they otherwise weren't offering. So these are our two things. In the public sector, we are automatic enrolling into deferred comp. In the private sector, we are automatically enrolling into Secure Choice. And when I talk about public sector, what do I mean? I mean every state employee, every community college employee, every state university employee, and every K through 12 teacher in the state of Illinois will now be automatically enrolled into supplemental retirement savings. Again, this is one of those issues that it doesn't provide a lot of short-term gratification. It's not something that's going to change the needle now. But this does more to help the future economy of our state, the future budgets of our state, by making sure that people have the resources to spend and drive our economy, improve our outcomes, help our budgets in the future. This is really good work, and it's something I'm really proud to have done. So that's it. Retirement security, that's one of the big initiatives I passed. There were 3 bills that were passed, and I'm really proud of them, and can't wait to see them get going. So that's it for now. My name is State Senator Robert Martwick. As always, you can contact me at my office, 773-286-1115. You can find me on the or you can send me an email, info@senatormartwick.com. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook and send me a message. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be putting up more videos about other legislative measures, so stay tuned for the next one. Thanks again and have a great day.